Hey everyone, my name's Chris Lambert. On this channel, we talk Kanye West, and today we're talking a controversy with the Hurricane music video that involves artistic theft, which I don't think it was something that Kanye did, but somebody on the team making the video definitely stole from this artist, and I care about that kind of thing, so I think it's worth getting into and just giving the artist whatever platform that we have to give some attention to their original work. So we're going to look at the comparison between what's shown in Hurricane, the artist's original work, who the artist is, as well as how this differs from other examples of Ye using references and allusions to other work in other music videos. So the post or the initial information comes from Drawsome, which, it's relevant for an art post that the person is draw awesome in that combination, So looked at the artist who designed the metal cover that was similar to part of the Hurricane music video. Gives us some information, but we're going to go to the post itself, and you can see that it's Denis Forkas official here. And Denis says, vigilant followers drew attention to this petty theft of my 2017 piece, Hortus Aureus, in the latest Kanye West video, Hurricane. I've never been contacted by any party involved in the production. It's just been pirated from the web and re-rendered for the video. Now, I doubt it was Kanye himself who authorized the underhand nonsense, but still, one would expect at least some measure of ethics, quality control, and respect from a popular artist of his renown, which I don't know how somebody quality controls this. It's a really cool image, and one of the images that were highlighted by people responding to the Hurricane video. But if somebody presents this, I don't know if you're on the team and you go, this is awesome, great, did you steal this, and not give credits? Like, you're not going to level that accusation all the time. You just hope that the people that you hire have some decency, and if they are using a reference that's this verbatim, they're either going to make it known or have changed it enough to where it's not just straight up plagiarism. And I don't think this one is changed enough to not be called plagiarism. So you can see here the main component. It's not just the concept, right? You have a dragon holding up this plane, but it's that the dragon itself is almost entirely unchanged. So Denis' work here on the right is very not computer. It's antiquated. It has this Greek edge to it, like ancient Greece kind of style to it. And you get this dragon that's down here holding up this rectangular landscape, which is a really cool concept. And here it's the location that the Hurricane video takes place in. So a lot of the video is zoomed in on this terrain. You have the people on the beach, you have the lightning striking the water. In the video itself, it's this cool moment to kind of zoom out from everything and see that the the setting where this video is taking place is just this block in a void. There's something very existential and philosophical about this moment in presentation that gets at the simulation theory, I think, that has been highlighted in a lot of the Donda music videos. Like the 24 music video has moments of simulation. The Heaven and Hell video has kind of implications of simulation. Even going back to the Wash Us in the Blood video, you have GTA video game clips put into the video. So this idea of simulation and simulated worlds and spaces is something that Ye has been incorporating a lot in his recent videos. I thought this was one of the coolest moments, but you can see that the dragon's exact. There's differences in the length and width of the body here. Just that's a little different, but somebody just took this exact thing, copied it, and adjusted it for the 3D rendering. That's it, right? But otherwise, you see that there's still the same curl in the tail. You see that even this bottom part here has this little, the tips. It's the exact same tips, which I can't zoom in enough on this to really show you the tips. Wow. That, but you can see that it's the exact same thing. It's not slightly similar, it's exact. And the dragon's neck is in the exact same position. The hands are gripping in the exact same way. It's just undeniably the same thing. The only difference is the artist that did the rendering for the Hurricane video cleared up some of the smoke coming out of the dragon's nostrils, so it's not blocking the face as much. It's more coming down. So that's a little more original, as there's more detail in the body as well. Like the head had to be more fully designed, as this is a little more basic. The body has a little bit more of the spikes and curls. So there was originality put into the dragon in terms of the actual like fleshing out of it, but the dragon itself is just like pure theft. And then of course they did change the landscape. It's not this same like Greek forest with a column, but you do have a similar implication, or implication is not the right word, but a similar like aesthetic, as you have these poles that are kind of rising up in the columns in the background that imitate more of the trees. And there is this palace thing back here that also does kind of call back to this. So there's still a lot of similar elements in this. So yeah, I think Denis has a really clear case here for why this is just like theft, and he should be paid, he should be credited. It's not fair that he's not. And you can see, like, I think his work is awesome. Like, just looking down the Instagram page, I'm looking at all this stuff and I'm like, yeah, this is right up my alley in terms of aesthetic. It's just so cool to me. And we have a little bit of a bio here. Denis Forkas Mitten explores mythology and religious symbolism through the ancient Mediterranean tradition of conveying images. Denis' work is firmly rooted in the aesthetics of antiquity, and he seeks to restore the interrupted artistic legacy of nameless masters by introducing contemporary techniques, notably acrylics, in his process. The synthesis of tradition and innovation forms a framework for the artist's studies of dreams and philosophy. Forkas's works have been exhibited around the globe and featured in numerous international music releases as album covers. The artist currently resides in Moscow. That idea of dreams, religion, mythology, and antiquity, I think, is the perfect summarization of Denis' style. You do have this sense of antiquity, and then this idea of dreams. And as you look through more of his work, there's this religious element that starts to kind of come into it. This is supposed to be Hercules and the 12th trial of Hercules. So kind of getting at that mythology, that antiquity. Here, this feels like it could be something on a Grecian urn or in the hieroglyphs of ancient Egypt, but also out of a dream, right? You have this chimera figure, this sphinx-like figure. And then here, this is also feels like biblical in some ways, but also mythological. Like you have the idea of maybe like a god figure, but angel wings, but it's this like still life on a table and almost like a genie bottle. This one too, you get the human figure in the lower portion of the frame, but instead of getting the head, like the neck and the head as you'd expect, as you have the torso and the arms here, you have this triangle that's pouring out this smoke. You have what looks like a broken column and kind of a storm of dust and clouds that are kind of eroding off of the person, which feels very dreamlike. I love Denis' style. Okay, so that's the next thing. So how's this differ from other Ye music videos? You may remember in the famous video, and hopefully YouTube doesn't dock me for this. In the famous video that came out, a lot of people were freaking out when this hit because they're all these nude figures of celebrities, right? You have Ye, you have Kim, you have Ray J, you have Amber Rose, you have Caitlyn Jenner, you have what they have Cosby. Cosby's like over cut off here. But then you have Taylor Swift, you have Chris Brown, Rihanna, Trump, Anna Wintour, and George Bush. So it's like quite the collection, and people were outraged. Like, how dare you show Taylor like this? How dare you put Chris Brown and Rihanna next to each other, given their history? How dare you put Trump in this? How dare you put, like, what's his name? Jello Man, Bill Cosby in this? And people were really upset, but that was kind of the point of the work. You had the camera for most of the work too, really close, like up close and personal. It's a handheld camera roaming over the bodies. It felt very like intrusive. And that's the whole point of everything, is that these are celebrities. We know all their stories. To see them naked like this and to know the history between Chris Brown and Rihanna, between Ye and Taylor, between Ray J and Kim, Ye and Amber Rose, it created all this controversy as people thought this was transgressive, this was unfair, how dare you. But that got into the idea of our relationship with celebrity and the voyeurism the public has with celebrity, because if these were just anonymous people, right, just random people we had never met, knew nothing about, we probably have a completely different reaction, as we're just like, who are these people in the bed? And because you don't know what happened between Chris Brown and Rihanna, you're just like, I don't have to be outraged over this because I don't know if these people all get along, if this is like, if they're comfortable with this. It's a whole different viewing experience, which gets at the idea of celebrity versus anonymity, which is the whole point of the work. But this is actually a reference to this painting by Vincent Desiderio called Sleep. And Sleep is the exact same thing, right? It's almost one-to-one. Of course, the sheets are a little different. The bodies are positioned a little differently, but you see this woman here, how the one arm's going back, and then you look at Ray J and the one arm's going back. The person next to him is turned over like on their stomach, and you look and Kim's turned over on her stomach. You have this person in the middle that's just on their back. Ye's in that position. The person next to Ye is on their back with a hand there, hand there. Taylor's in that exact position. So clearly Ye saw this, knew that he wanted to do that, like a reference to that, and put these two works in communication. And because this is a known, famous work, people picked up on it, not the general public, but enough people picked up on it to write about it, to make the illusion known to the public, right? So now it is a much more like talked about part of the music video. Not like generally you walk up to somebody on the street and you're like, hey, did you know the famous video was inspired by Vincent Desiderio's Sleep? They'll say no, but a lot of like people that are into music, into art, are aware of the reference at this point. But that's not what's going on here, right? Because this isn't a famous known work that you can reference and people will be like, oh, of course. It's something completely different, especially when the person is not credited. At that point, it feels a little more just like thievery. And we had something similar with the Heaven and Hell video. Ye had actually had parts in the video that were clearly inspired in video form of Gustave Doré and John Martin images that were in reference to whatchamacallit, the Divine Comedy by Dante. And here you have at the end of the Heaven and Hell video this image that just says Yeezy, and you have this like ancient city. You have all the all black Yeezy Gap wearing people kind of battling. You have this gigantic sky, and this is actually one of John Martin's illuminations of the fall of Babylon. And you can see here that they changed some things, right? Like this building is completely different between the two. This is more modernized, sleeker. This is more ancient. It's darker. Overall in the John Martin illumination. Some of the like river and things are different. The sky's a little different, but clearly you're having the same bolt of lightning coming through, the same ziggurats getting struck by it. You have this same grouping of people in the lower portion kind of piling on top of each other, a similar like battle raging down here. So even though there are differences to the work, it's clearly like a reference to this work. And you have other moments like that kind of throughout, which I don't have any of them queued up at the moment. Like this is another one where we have an image earlier in the video of, where is it? Is it here? That's not a good example of it. You think I would have had this queued up ahead of time and make it easy on me, but nope. There. So that's the image, right? That's what we see in the Heaven and Hell video. You have Ye standing there, these swirling souls, and at the end of this vortex, you have essentially heaven. And then here was the original illumination. Oh my God. Almost there. Almost there. There. Right? It's like not exactly the same, but it is. Like you have the figures in the lower portion, which is supposed to be Dante and uh, not Bethany. I forget what her name is, but it starts with a B. And then at the end of these swirling souls, you have like God, heaven. So yeah, Ye has done this in the past, and the difference is here, like the Gustav Doré and John Martin works, like this is a Doré, are famous. They're really well known. They're also like older. Like the Doré work is like a couple hundred years old. The Martin work, I think, is, if not over 50 years, definitely like 100 to 200 years, like that kind of thing. They're older pieces. They're kind of in the public domain when it comes to references, but Denis' work is not. And that's why it should have been credited, should have been paid, that kind of thing. So I just wanted to take a minute and shout out Denis, because I don't know if this will make any difference, but just getting some acknowledgments I think is nice. And I'd like to do that for any of you if this was a situation that you found yourself in. So until next time, stay wavy and keep it loopy. Cheers.